Here we go. We are on. What do I usually say when we start the show? Hi, welcome to Control Talk.
Yeah.
Take two. Hi, welcome to Control Talk Now, your smart building video cast and podcast for the week ending November 18th, 2018. This is episode 292, where we talk about the control news of the week and what's going on in the smart building controls industry. And you also have your co-host and mine, the man, the myth, the legend, the Pittsburgh Steelers winning the last 5 games in a row. The hey, Le'Veon Bell, we don't need you. Kenny Smyers joining us right now. Kenny, what's up, big dog?
Well, always good to be here, Eric. We're in a very snowy. I feel like I'm in a cave because it's just so gloomy. It's cold. We had a power outage for about 24 hours and got worried about the frozen goods section of my refrigerator and freezer, whether or not it was going to hold. But we're back. We're back up, and I'm happy to say that Le'Veon Bell. Everybody had an opinion here in Pittsburgh that was very hostile towards Le'Veon Bell because we need people to win games, and it's so competitive out there. I mean, my God, you have a good run, 5 games or whatever, and then somebody gets hurt, and it could just change the complexion of the whole team is affected by because it's a team sport, and he's a great player. He's a great athlete. I don't know what his agent. I'd blame his agent probably more than him because he was given some interesting advice to turn down $14 million. If he had just come Tuesday by 4:00, I don't know what it was, some extraordinary amount of money, and he would have been eligible for it. And he could sit on the bench because James Conner is going to he's the number 1 back. He's going to be an All-Pro if he keeps up. But he runs like the old days. He runs like oh my gosh, the guy from Denver that just a bulldog. He was number 30. What was his name? They won the Super Bowl when he had the headaches and he came back.
Terrell Davis.
Terrell Davis. That's who he
Georgia
was.
player.
And then Earl Campbell used to run just the guy was just fearless. He took everybody on. And the bad thing about that is you're going to meet your match. These guys on the other side of the ball are going to. You're going to be going up against a 260, 70-pound lineman or a linebacker for that, 300-pound lineman. But anyhow, football's.
But hang on a second. I think you bring an interesting parallel here because I think that the one thing you can say about the smart building controls industry is I don't think anybody in our industry would turn down $14 million to do something legal, right? So,
I know.
I would say that as smart building controls professionals, we are smarter than some of these professional athletes. $14 million, you got to be.
Well, there's a little anecdote here I'm going to tell you real quick, and then we'll get down to the ControlTrends business. But my brother David's son is a very good athlete, and he played college ball, and he works out at the LA Fitness on McKnight Road, which is a major boulevard here in Pittsburgh. And so a lot of celebrities go there. It's the new chick place to work out. So Le'Veon Bell.
Chick place or chic place?
Well, chick. Yeah, it could also be like chic.
Meaning good-looking women are there, or chic?
No, boy, I tell you, it took me off the road.
Chic.
No, not chic. Chick. It's chick. It's happening. Come on. This is out of the '60s, maybe. But you were back there. You should have worked with chick. Anyhow, the truth of the matter is he gained 10 pounds of pure muscle. He looks like Adonis, and he's 6'2", 250 pounds or 45 pounds of pure muscle, and he plays basketball to keep cross train or whatever. And my brother's son plays with him, and he said he's incredible. He was in tremendous shape. He was ready to play.
But hang on a second, Kenny. I think I know why he turned that contract down because he's been partying in Miami for the last 3 months. He's put on 10 pounds of muscle. Sounds to me like steroids. But let's move on.
Nah, steroids. There you go. I mean,
do we have some shout outs? So first shout out is to Le'Veon Bell.
Yeah, good luck, Le'Veon. But
you're our new hero. If you can afford to turn down $14 million for sitting down for 10 weeks, you're our new hero. So who else do we have shout outs for, Kenny?
Well, we have a couple of shout outs from our ControlTrends community out there. We have a congratulations going to Gagan Barrietta for 1 year at Quantum Eurostar. We have congratulations going to Brooke Raffetto. She used to be with what was that company that was bought out by Cisco? It was Richard Zeta, and
Oh, Richard Zeta. Yeah.
he
Yeah.
was amazing. So her father was Ed Richards. So she now still works with Cisco, and she just got promoted to global marketing lead, manufacturing energy at Cisco. So she's a heck of a salesperson. We have congratulations to Mark Brooks starting a new position at distribution sales for Residio, Honeywell Residio, not Honeywell Residio, Residio. Sorry about that. And we have a couple birthdays. We have Daniel Kerwin, and we have Jordan Covell. And these guys are all busy somewhere in the building automation world or HVAC world. So congratulations.
Well, happy birthday to you guys, and congratulations to our people we shouted out to. So big news on ControlTrends is last week we announced the finalists for the 2018 ControlTrends Awards. The voting ballot is up. You can vote. And yeah, so definitely you can copy that link. You can send it to your community. And we are seeing just a surge in voting. I think it's the quickest people have ever voted. And we will be closing the voting probably the middle part of December. So yeah, don't wait on this. Get it out to your community right away. Still a couple sponsorships left for the ControlTrends Awards, which will happen January 13th, which is Sunday night before AHR. Yours truly went down to a nightclub and checked our band out that's going to be playing for us. So we got some great entertainment that's coming up, and all systems are go.
Yeah, Eric, it's getting exciting because here we are midway through November, and it's a couple of blinks away. We're looking at 15 more days in November, and then we got 31 in December and 13th of January. So there's not so less than 2 months now, and it's really a spectacular venue. I can't help but looking at some of the posts we did, and the Egyptian Ballroom is just a magnificent venue. It's going to be the big, the state, state dinner type of environment. It's going to be a great meal. It's going to be great entertainment now. We've got some surprises, and it's just going to be a heck of a good night. And then you're down there for the HR. So be a good night for everybody to come together, especially all the corporate people with their customers. And we're going to have good weather. We don't have to worry about, snow and freezing rain turning into snow and breaking trees and closing roads down like we just had here in Western Pennsylvania.
And you can stay an extra 2 weeks and be there for the Super Bowl.
Well, that would be a lot of fun.
Because the Super Bowl is in Atlanta this year as well. So, well, cool, Kenny. Listen, we got two fabulous guests lined up, and let's kick it off with the first guest. How about introducing our first guest?
Love to, Eric. We've got a very special guest today. And he's been a leader in the industry from the distribution standpoint. It's a very well-recognized person. We'd like to introduce Scott Cochran, president of Cochran Supply and Engineering. Welcome to the show, Scott.
Welcome, Scott.
Hi, Ken and Eric. Thanks for having me.
Oh, man, we appreciate you taking some time to be with us, Scott. I mean, you are like one of the busiest guys in the industry right now. And for our ControlTrends community, Scott just knows he is ahead of the curve, like some of our other guests are on the show. So, Scott, first of all, again, thank you for being on the show. And I know you've been doing a series for Ken Sinclair at AutomatedBuildings.com on master systems integrators. You have some of the best systems integrators on the planet up in your territory that you sort of have grown and worked with. So let's sort of start the conversation with what you're seeing with master systems integrators.
Yeah, thanks. It's been quite a year this year with that movement in terms of watching the work develop. So the biggest trend we've seen this year is in terms of the change in how they do business. A lot of the systems integrators we work with now, unfortunately, to the manufacturing community, is buying much less hardware and buying much more software. And it's becoming noticeable. I recently got information from a very large building automation contractor in the United States, probably one of the largest. They're looking at, in the last 4 years, they've grown their business probably over 40%, and they've seen their controls, their hardware business flat with no growth. And now they're challenged, with keeping their vendors happy, and their vendors are hammering on them for more part sales. And the contractor's saying, hey, look, man, I am selling more. I'm just not selling your stuff. I'm selling software, selling IT gear. I'm selling things from other industries like lighting controls and access control. And my volume's going up. Mr. BAS vendor, but unfortunately not with your products. And so I think guys, I wanted to throw that trend out there to you because I think we're all going to see it in a lot of ways, coming up here. So I don't know how you guys see it these days, but I don't know what you guys are seeing with your businesses, but that's what I'm seeing a lot with those integrators. So.
Well, Eric, why don't you chip back first, and then I'll bring up my thoughts. But you're right, Scott. I agree. I mean, we see it too.
Well, we're seeing it, and what I'm wondering too, Scotty, is I wonder because we've been seeing sort of a differentiation between sort of the traditional BAS type contractor, right? That's just doing basically the heating and air conditioning, maybe throwing some lights in, and then a whole new sort of genre of master systems integrator, which is I think what you're describing, that does the lighting, the integration, the analytics, brings all the disparate systems in, and really creates almost a business system as opposed to just a temperature control or BAS system. So I wonder if, I wonder how that bodes for the traditional BAS type distributor, which, I think we all see a lot of those. Are they just in jeopardy of taking a double whammy now? Not just the fact that they're getting less control sales if they are getting the jobs and doing the integrations, but now they're not even getting the jobs maybe because they're not able to tie the systems together.
Well, as that contractor mentioned in his notes in the notes that I got, the one of the major contributors to why their component business or their product business is down is because it's coming through on the equipment already in a lot of cases as well. So it's sort of not just that integration piece; it's that mixture of the integration of existing systems, keeping legacy systems in place, reutilizing them, getting more potential out of them than they thought. That definitely is cutting down on the sale of product. But secondarily, the OEMs who make equipment for HVAC are all sending that equipment with pre-configured controllers on it now. And there's very few large pieces of equipment that don't come that way. And now you're seeing even the unitary equipment, like water source heat pumps, very hard to get without a controller on it. VRF is impossible to get without a controller. So all these instances, your BAS lines that used to have these, it'd be a controller on all those units. Now, you're looking at not putting controllers on them. So you couple that with the thought of being able to integrate it all. And no question that market is, obviously shrinking in some ways, but, maybe in the OEM side for these guys, it's growing, for the guys who win that battle. So that's something to consider as well. But it's definitely a change. I do want to note, though, that the integrators we're talking about, their businesses are succeeding.
Yeah.
Right? Because their businesses are getting bigger. They're becoming more profitable. So they're not unhappy. They're okay with it.
I know you're absolutely right, and I have read the series that you and Ken St. Clair have so diligently put up every month. It's a great piece, and it talks from different perspectives from different master systems integrators. But to review a little bit, we were told by Rawlene Oakes from the channel partner. It's a company that provides services, consultant services, where she thought we were at the same part of an inflection point or pivot point or whatever you want to call it, to where our industry needed to take a good look at itself and actually refer to the playbook that they had written on the IT side of the world. And that was that there was going to be more managed services than hardware sold from this point forward. And this was exactly what's happened. We saw the architecture of our whole BAS system flatten, where we used to have field level devices, supervisory controllers, and we had server controllers, and now we're seeing everything being ready for the IP, so that you don't need to have those connecting dots, so that when you look at the number of controllers going into a building, it's been greatly reduced. And like you say, I remember the very first time when they started coming out with the smoke detectors on our air handlers, where we lost all that business, because we used to sell hundreds of smoke detectors every year. And this was a change in the industry. So then we see all these things coupling to the point where and lighting is kind of, we had, the divisions and the divisions of labor were such that we were extricated from any participation in anything other than BAS. It took us a long time to get VFDs into the equation, where we could convince the world that we were able to sell and take care of the VFD issues. And then those motors came alongside of it. But then, I see the less hardware, the more software, the more IT. I mean, it's really, it's accelerated now. So we're feeling the same situation here. We're busier than ever. We do a lot of talking, a lot of presenting, a lot of pre-sale work, and explaining. And then when it actually comes to selling, to buy materials for the product or project, there's not a whole lot of materials. It's more software, it's more applications, more third-party stuff. So very interesting transition. So where do you see the future go? I mean, where are we going to next?
Well, in terms of the systems integrators, where we see if you look at an industry that's advanced in it, and we're in the Rust Belt here, in the industrial Rust Belt, so we're fortunate we get to study the industrial side of the business a little, and they've had systems integrators there for a long time, the systems integrator of the future is really going to be more of a, if you may, a data architect of the business. As we've advanced the digitization of the buildings and the systems that support it, we've uncovered all sorts of new data. And with that new data, we've been able to create new capabilities. But it all starts with making that data work and getting the digitization coordinated amongst all the systems within a building. And so, as that becomes easier, as we're able to integrate every project that comes out, which is soon, you're going to see new services arise that weren't there before. That kind of bodes into a part of the next thing, which is the future enhancements of the industry that we're seeing. And a lot of it we're seeing is going to come from the development of apps.
Okay, well, hang on, Scott. So it seems like there's a path for the systems integrators. They've got to shift a bit and create apps, be more software, more proficient. These are things you've been talking about for a while. But here's my question for you, because you're one of the top distributors on the planet. Kenny's a distributor. I'm a distributor. How does this bode for distribution? How are we going to survive this if there are less widgets to sell?
Well, Eric, that's an interesting question. So
it's $1 million question, Eric. I'm glad Scott's going to answer this one. I've got my pen out too here.
Yeah, this is a good question. So I'll give the key. I'll give you my secret. My secret is listen to the change in vocabulary and start buying the products that are in the vocabulary. Start listening to what your contractors or what the integrators need, and then find better ways, better services to support them in getting what they need. And it's just that darn simple. And as a distributor, our job is to help our customers be successful. And the best way to do that is to listen to them. So I know you guys know we've done a lot of work in terms of bringing in a lot of IP type products into our product portfolio. So we see networking. Networking is not just like for distributors, but for integrators, for end users, for engineers. Networking is now a part of our vocabulary. And if you're foolish enough to not understand, why it is, then, it's going to kick you in the butt here real quick. Because let me tell you, every meeting I go into, we're talking about networking now at every level. I mean, we're not just talking about with IT departments. I mean, I could go meet with the consulting engineer this afternoon and talk about a school district. I guarantee we're talking about networking, IP, internet, all that stuff. And so that's it. That's what we're really, we think, the change for everybody is a big change, is moving us towards understanding these products that'll support this IP infrastructure that's going to be required to do the plumbing for all these digital systems that are in a building, right? And there's just so many products on that side. Now, they're already out there, right? You can go to the IT community and buy these products now, right? That's all great, except you don't know what you're buying or why you're buying it. And so we as distributors, we're vetting out products that we feel are good for our industry. So we feel like products, for instance, a lot of people are looking at Optigo right now. Optigo makes a lot of sense as an IP network infrastructure. A lot of that has to do with the tools that they embedded in it are things that a BAS tech can pick up and use. And that's why it's a good product for our industry. We're working with a lot of industrial companies like Phoenix Contact, and we're looking at the things they've deployed on plant floors for firewalls. And, we're working, they've got 15 years experience of putting firewalls on plant floors and protecting equipment from cyber attacks in industrial environments. And we're looking at those products and scaling those, you know, for the use for BAS systems, things like that. So you're seeing us bring these new products in around those types of areas because we believe that's what the contractors, the integrators need our help in selecting and supplying, right?
Right.
Well, that's one of the hardware. The software, you guys, that's where the big play is. I mean, hardware is a little play for distributors, if you ask me. The big play is going to be in software. And there's just, that's a whole world of opportunity.
I got to slow you down just for a second, Scott, because you are saying a lot. And for our community, I think on behalf of our community, we're thanking you for this, especially if you're a distributor. You need to be paying attention to this because I really think Scott is really giving us some valuable data. Now, when you say we, meaning Cochran Supply, talk about the we at Cochran Supply because you're hiring a little bit different type person now, aren't you? I mean, describe your members of your team. What skills do they have now that maybe the we of Cochran Supply 15 or 20 years ago didn't have?
Well, the we at Cochran Supply now, we have, if you can imagine, Eric and Ken, we actually grew Cochran Supply in two different areas. We grew in the traditional sense of the controls distributor, and we've got a lot of great young millennials that we brought in that, yeah, they bring a whole different talent set. They bring a whole new energy and a bunch of annoying behaviors. And just kidding. No, but we're, you know, so the sales side is fun, but the other thing we've developed is a real strong group of IT guys. We've, you know, and I've told the community this for years, and I'm just floored at how few people have taken my advice on this. And yet I keep doing it, and it just keeps this being a success for me, which is I hire IT guys from outside of the BAS industry to come in and work on the BAS side. So I look for people with IT managed service experience. I look for people with software development or coding experience. I look for people who specialize in databases. I look for people who specialize in desktop support. You know, and I hire these people with no BAS experience, and so my business is like it's almost like 50% IT people and 50%, you know, traditional BAS people. And I see the IT side growing. Also, you know, Cochran Supply, we're real fortunate. We're 51 years this year, and we've had people here for a long time. And, you know, Nicole Conklin, who's nominated for Woman of the Year.
Yes.
Recently, I promoted her to, she's in charge of sales and marketing now for the company. And, you know, having a guy like Mike Mitchell, whom, you know, is my CTO and probably one of the most brilliant IT guys I've ever met. You know, and some other really good leaders in my team. That also is the we in us. And I'm very fortunate that we're all together working hard and having fun. So, yeah.
And for our community, just so you know, Cochran is again a sponsor for the ControlTrends Award. So, Scotty, we really appreciate that. You guys have been supporting us since day one. Nicole Conklin, who Scott was referring to, is nominated for Woman of the Year at the ControlTrends Awards. Scott is nominated in two categories, and this, I think, bodes to how the industry is changing. Scott has been nominated by the ControlTrends community as the most impactful person of the year, which is a new category for us, but also as executive of the year for a small vendor. So our categories are started growing and expanding. So congratulations to you, Scott, and congratulations to Nicole.
Yeah, thanks, guys. Yep, we're excited for the awards. Yep.
Well, we are for sure. Kenny, you got a question? I know you're chomping at the bit over there.
No, I remember back in 2013 where Eric and I we basically documented the trends. Literally, we would take we'd call through all the media, you know, publications, online sites, engineering systems, you name it, and we were looking for what was changing in our industry to kind of keep on top of it. And I remember that's where we recognized you and Brian Turner, because you had this, you know, this aptitude that a lot of people didn't have. We certainly didn't have it in the company I worked for, and I think I was absent from my own, you know, agenda, you know, of getting serious to IT first. You know, we just thought, you know, just kind of lazy towards it. You know, we didn't see the the money side of it. We couldn't see far enough into the systems and the networking to see how you'd realize, getting your money back on it. So eventually we were slow to it, but we got it, we get it. And so when we see these trends, the trends that you just mentioned here are very important, and they mean different things to different people. But I think to Eric's question, the future of the systems distributor, not even distributor, traditional distribution, basically is a large barge or vessel that has so many holes in it, and the holes are figuratively, speaking, where you have internet sales, you have direct sales. I mean, you just have every single challenge, and tons of competitors. So you've got great competitors out there. They're doing whatever they can to survive, and they're willing to cut the margins down to just minuscule amounts. You can't keep your overhead with living on those kind of margins. So I don't think that our industry, our distribution industry, is moving fast enough towards these new trends and moving towards these things, even though it's probably been a good 5 years, certainly 4 years of being front level talk conversation. What is the pushback? Why are the traditional distributors that are seeing these challenges, and despite them not moving quick enough, or not advancing their internal programs and taking on an IT guy and whatever? I mean, all the way to Controls Group North America, we have meetings there, and it's almost frightening how some of them do not agree with this fresh talk, this fresh outlook. I mean, why do you think? What is the biggest pushback from is it old age? Is it fear of technology? What is it?
I don't know. I
Fear of millennials.
I think I've proven it that it works.
Yeah.
I don't know. I don't get you guys. I've been telling I bet you guys have been around me for probably 15, 20 years now. That's when I hired my first IT guy. It was almost 20 years ago. I started telling you guys this stuff, and it's meant the world of difference to my business having that team here. I mean, the technology that we're playing with now, I mean,
Right.
forget about it. There's no way we could be competitive in the Amazon world of distribution if I didn't have those IT guys setting us apart from that part of the business. I mean, they are a huge difference maker. And I don't care if you're a distributor, an integrator, and I'll give this one out. Our manufacturers, okay, the biggest brands in the BAS business, go meet with their people in charge and try and find an IT person close to them that's supporting them. You won't find one. They don't have one in their departments. They don't. And without having that IT person around you, you're not going to see what's coming. You will not see it. It's going to hit you so hard. And technology, these leaps we're getting, these next leaps, total game changers, okay? I'll give you an example. I mean, I'll give you a sneak peek. We're hosting our event, ControlsCon, next year. It's going to be next May 2nd and 3rd back in Detroit at the Motor City Casino. And we are so happy you guys are coming. I told you I'm going to give you a special spot to interview my customers and everybody. And this is opened up to anybody in the country and the world. We'd love to have you. But we're going to unveil some new technology there. And that we believe some of this stuff's going to be game changing. And just a little sneak peek at one of the things is we're going to be launching a camera that will have artificial intelligence in it that will be capable of sensing information through vision and sharing it as raw data back to something like Niagara.
Wow.
And we're going to show you guys a live demo of that. And we're going to talk about some projects where we're deploying it currently and why it's being deployed.
Was that the indoor positioning you were mentioning? The indoor positioning?
That's a whole nother technology, which is indoor positioning, which is basically using sensors inside of a space and using mobile devices and combining the two to be able to locate a person or a mobile device within a couple of centimeters in a building.
Wow.
And with that type of technology, we're talking about all new ways at looking at how you use a space in a building, and how people in a building can get these, can get all these new services from this type of technology. And we got systems deployed. We have apps built to support it, and we're seeing, and we're going to be demonstrating that technology at ControlsCon as well.
Sounds awesome.
Very cool, Scott.
And again, all this stuff you guys were doing, my poor Mike Mitchell. I
Keep
swear,
him busy, huh?
I gave him the day off today because, I gave him at least 3 more gray hairs with all this. But I mean, you get into things like artificial intelligence. And as we've uncovered this industry of artificial intelligence, it's like there is no way I would have a comprehension of how to deal with it if I didn't have these IT guys by me that are just chattering about it, that are just geeked out into it and love it. I mean, that's what you got to look for this business now. Or you got to have people that are IT savvy and have a passion for that technology side.
Okay, so let's get back to the IT thing, and I don't want you to give all your secrets away, but I think, Kenny, part of the pushback might be with IT is, first of all, where do you find them? How do you know they're good? And then, Scott, what's your pitch? Are they real open to coming into this industry, or are you having to pay premium bucks for them, or so where do you find them? What's your pitch to them, and how do you know they're any good?
Well, an IT person doesn't have to necessarily be a degreed computer science person. An IT person could be a young person that has an extreme interest in computers, okay? A self-learner, somebody that spends a lot of time trying to dissect programs, the internet, the whole 9 yards. That you can hire them. But of course, if you're looking for degrees, there's a ton of different computer science degrees out there. A lot of them qualify. You don't have to get too picky. In terms of the type of people, it's more the people like just like if they had an interest in HVAC in the old days, it's kind of like that. You need a person who has a true, genuine interest in the IT community and the products and software that support it. And then in terms of bringing them in and recruiting them and getting them to come work for you, guys, we are doing some of the coolest projects on earth. I don't care what anybody says. I mean, you just walk them up to one of these giant buildings that we're putting controls in and say, how would you like to control all that with your iPhone, buddy?
Nice.
And if they think that's cool, if they like that stuff, they'll keep talking to you, right? Because they'll be like, what, you do that? And you'll be like, yeah, come here, meet. It's always great when you already have an IT guy, because you say, come meet my IT guys. And then they're like, oh, and they start, and they start talking. And But the first one's a little tough. But like I said, it doesn't have to be the perfect person. It's more the person with the interest that has the right background is really the best way to start on this. You might even have them in your family or people that already work for you. So
that makes sense. Makes sense. Well, talking about that, Scott, another product that you announced last year at ControlCon and just blew Ken and myself away was your Raven product. Can you give us an update on that?
Sure. Yeah, Raven went well.
First of all, tell our community what it is in case they don't know.
Oh, sure. So what we did was we built a push notification system for typical BAS systems. Typical BAS systems send information. Typically, they either populate a screen or they push it via an email. We saw push notifications as a great way to share data in real time from these systems with mobile users that need that data. And so it's been an effective means. We've had it out for about a year now, and as I mentioned, we're using that app development capability that we inherited with developing that, and we're now applying it towards indoor positioning. Indoor positioning requires an app on a phone, and so we're now we're working with multiple vendors. We're looking at multiple apps, and we're looking at developing lots of different software in terms of connecting all that together. So it's going to be right now we're real focused on the artificial intelligence and the indoor positioning, and then probably sometime later next year you'll see us probably look to do something on the app side again. So
cool.
Very, very cool.
Yeah.
Well, I think that leads us right into taking a deeper dive into Cochran Supply. You mentioned some of the great people you've got. Eric and I were just overwhelmed with the Controls Con, the one last year, and it's great to hear you're going to do another one. We're looking forward to it. But there we saw some extraordinary depth. You had employees in the 40-year plus category all the way down to brand new hires, and it was a great range of people. And they had a really like a family-ish, everybody was really cool. It looked like a very good environment. So tell us more about Cochran Supply and Engineering, and then take us to the Controls Con 2019.
So they all learned to put up a good act for you guys when you're in town.
That they did. That they did.
That worked. It was charming.
They better. So no, Cochran Supply. So we're we're trying to again we're trying to reevaluate ourselves and really when we look at the solution side of the business for what we're offering, we're really focused on the training side right now. So we've put a lot of focus on adding a lot more training for next year. We believe it's a critical part to the industry. So I mentioned, we have that IT thing going, but we also are pushing a lot of new training. We're going to be adding a lot of, again, go figure, IT training next year. So we're bringing in a lot of IP network training. We're doing a lot of training of consulting engineers on how to lay out an IP network, a self-contained IP network, so that they can put in flat, spec flat architecture. So a lot of work on that right now in our markets to help set the stage right for this data highway type concept to move the data into the services better. So that's all going really well, and so we're excited about that. And then let's see what else is going on here. We
Charlie turned 16, so you
well,
have a driver.
Well, just to mention also on ControlsCon, I just want to mention also that we have 4 fantastic keynotes. Did you guys see the keynotes I got for ControlsCon?
Who have you
I
got?
saw 2 of them.
Okay, so you guys, one of your favorites, of course, and he won't do a speech, but I'll have
Mr. Wilcom. Oh, wait.
No,
Ken
Mr.
Sinclair.
Ken
Young.
Sinclair,
Yeah,
dude.
okay.
I mean, Ken Sinclair, he's coming all the way from the Great White North. He's going to be there.
Nice.
Ken and I are. I got some plans with Ken. He's fantastic, and my God, what a thinker! I mean, you talk about a guy that really has helped the whole industry evolve. I mean,
Sure.
I give him my Lifetime Achievement Award. I mean, I think the guy's fantastic. And then, and I've been reading Automated Buildings for 18 years, you guys, just so you know, if you guys haven't either. Yeah, but anyways, and then of course, Jim Young, whom, he represents the smart building industry so well. Sure. He brings together the leaders, brings together the big companies with the little companies. And he just brings a real pure message to everybody and gets everybody excited about the industry. And I can't say enough good things about having him in attendance. And then of course, we have Kevin Smith from Tritium, who's the CTO. And Tritium is now one of Honeywell's, I'll say, darling softwares. And Kevin's getting a lot of attention, and Tritium is. And there's a lot of excitement around Honeywell with Tritium. And I know Kevin's going to share a lot of that with us. And that'll be an exciting topic. You'll really get a better feel for where Tritium's going. And it's exciting. I mean, Honeywell stock's doing well. They're investing in the company. And Tritium's definitely one of the beneficiaries of that. So
we like Kevin a lot. We really like Kevin. He's a sharp guy. It's great we got him there. Yeah.
Yep. So he'll do a fantastic job. And then we have Laurent from Acuity Brands. And he's the leader of the business unit that Distech's in, and he's led multiple businesses in the BAS arena. He brings just oodles of experience to the table, and of course, Acuity has such a neat, just a neat way of looking at the business right now. I think it's a great message to share with the community. You got this giant lighting company that sees the future of connected buildings and is putting their best effort to be a player in that right now, and investing a lot of money in our space, and it's just a really neat story. So I think those 4 alone will be worth the visit, to be honest with you. Not to mention the 50+ vendors will have, all the exhibits, and then we might have a little party after.
One thing about you, Scotty, you definitely know how to throw a party. So when association is May 2nd and 3rd, did you say?
Yeah, May 2nd and 3rd in downtown Detroit. Come visit Detroit. Detroit's had a downtown. If you haven't been here in 10 years, it's a brand new city. It really has a new life to it, and we're excited to show it off as well. So all good there. Yep. So
it's a great venue.
CochranSupply.com, right, Scotty?
CochranSupply.com, and of course ControlsCon, ControlsCon.com is where you'll go to sign up for ControlsCon and get more information about that. So.
Very cool. All right, ladies and gentlemen, our guest has been the one to only Scott Cochran from Cochran Supply and Engineering. Scotty, man, thank you so much.
Thank you, guys. Great talking to you as always, guys. Take care.
Have a great weekend, buddy.
You too.
Great stuff from Scott Cochran, Kenny.
Boy, I'll say, what a luminary. He's just smart, as smart as can be, and he really has a passion. You know, he's not getting old. He's getting younger and better. But
He's definitely the doyen of our industry.
Yeah.
He's a luminary and a doyen. We're using our vocab words. All right, there you go.
I know. Well, you got me beat on that. What'd you do last time? You still got one up on me. But anyhow, two quick posts, and we'll get to the second guest. So we got the 2019 AHR Expo product preview released. Excuse me. So this is just a very simple, basic thing. But AHR is they're really turning the wheels. We're very fortunate to get their updates. We are recognized by the media. Speaking of which, I have yours and your team's. The ControlTrends Awards. I got all the badges, so we're all set.
Nice.
We will be there. We will be working with Ken St. Clair's crew too to get some video coverage on some of his training sessions. But basically we used to say trade shows, the efficacy, you can't live with them, can't live without it. But now I think we're seeing the transition back to the trade show. The AHR show is probably one of the most important events of the season, and there's so many new products innovations. So if you hit the URL to the product preview, you're going to be surprised how much IoT devices, as we felt the impact of IoT devices affect the ControlTrends Awards. They also have made a special preview of the products, and it's very, very interesting to see how many new products are coming into the building automation, whether it's a sensor, the VOC sensors are coming in, some of those things that we know, like Aware. I was looking at some of those products, and I'm very impressed with the innovation and the technology and how it's impacting our industry. So for distributors that are seeing less and less of their products getting sold, or there's competitive forces out there that you can't deal with, the Amazon worlds, you can certainly find new products to sell. And this is where you go meet the people that make them, and they're looking for distribution. So for all the distributors out there, make sure you get your stuff lined up and sign up for the 2019 AHR Expo.
Very cool.
Last post, Eric. Last post, we're going to transition. This is a summary post because we've already talked about the Honeywell new Cyper next generation IP controllers. This is a game changer in the automation industry. Honeywell's really excited about this controller. There's a nice little video that if you go to the site and you see it in a minute and a half, they summarize all the features and benefits. But basically, we're talking about Niagara framework, fastest IP HVAC controller, greater bandwidth, world-class security, and for basically, again, talking to distribution world and talking about contractors, only 4 SKUs in the Cyper line, so with those 4 products, 3 of which we have featured, you will be able to handle anything from a VAV to a plant controller to basically, a full complement of a distributed environment, a university, anything in the MUSH market, municipalities, universities, schools, and hospitals. So great stuff from Honeywell.
Very, very cool. And Kenny, do you remember the movie The Men in Black?
I sure do. It was one of my favorite movies. Yep.
And our ControlTrends committee will remember the men in black that are in the controls industry, Eugene Mazzo, Dennis, and Arthur. And guess what? We have one of the men in black as our next guest. How about introducing them, Kenny?
Love to, Eric. An amazing guest coming up here. He hasn't been on ControlTrends for a while, but everybody's going to recognize him. Everybody's going to recognize Arthur Alter. He's the Vice President of Business Development at DG Lux. Welcome to the show, Arthur.
Welcome, Arthur.
Thank you, Kenny. Eric, good to see you guys again.
Well, it's good to see you too. Now, listen, Kenny and I are both wearing black today, and you're one of the men in black. Oh, you got the black stripes. Okay. Wow. Okay.
Well, that was a different generation of DG Logic and DG Lux. So, Arthur, we're really excited to hear. Kind of you're back in a bigger, better way, and you got some really interesting, exciting news to tell us about. So tell us about the new DGLux.com.
Yes, absolutely. So we're actually doing a few things. Everybody knows DG Lux. We've been at it for a while. And then, as you know, DG Logic was the company that always owned that product, which was acquired by Acuity about 2 years ago. And since then, we were fairly quiet, I would like to say. And what we're doing now is we're pushing for a big comeback. So the Atrius, which is one of the names that we wanted to rebrand the product as, we're actually not doing that anymore. We decided to bring DG Lux back. DG Lux is DG Lux, as it always has been, continuing to be supplied to all of our partners. The only thing that we have shifted, and this is huge, is we gave it its own home, its new domain. So everything that has to do with DG Lux is now on dglux.com.
Very, very cool. And Arthur, for our community, because it has been a while, like I said, people that have been watching Control Trends for a long time, remember you guys were virtually on all the time. I mean, you guys really started with the graphics and creating the really cool package. For our community who might not know what you guys do, I'd just give them a quick update.
Yes, absolutely. So DigiLux is a superior visualization platform for building automation systems. It's its whole purpose and reason for existence. Now, it does have two flavors, one that works natively with Niagara, right? As a distribution file, you install it as a service, and you can immediately build graphics on top of Niagara AX, on top of Niagara 4, which are pure HTML5 and mobile friendly. So kind of a step up from the default. And then the second piece that we have for those systems that don't use Niagara or there is no BMS in the building at all, we have DSA, which is our gateway to get BACnet and Modbus data straight into DigiLux to be able to do dashboards.
Very, very cool. And how have you seen visualization, what people are asking for, sort of change? Because you guys have been doing this for a while and have always been on top of cutting edge in terms of visualization tools. How have you seen that change over the last several years? And where do you see it going in the next several years?
Sure. So the biggest thing that I see is it's really becoming mobile first more and more. You know, people use their smaller screens almost more frequently than they use their bigger ones. So as we create designs, we actually take that approach and we first think of what is going to be the target device. Are they going to be using a tablet? Are they going to be using a phone? So the actual web interface is almost like a secondary thing, right? It needs to be brilliant and good, but you need to get all the devices in order. And then the second thing that I see that's coming up more and more also is that people want to get done with graphics fast. They want to get on the job, get it done as quickly as they can and move on. And with that, we still have Project Assist, which is very much a simplified, templated type application that you can utilize to do floor plans, zone overlays, HVAC equipment, and not have to even dub into DigiLux, which is like your master design environment.
Yeah, I think to me, you guys are kind of like the perfect sort of foray into visualization because, like you said, with the Project Assist and things like that, if you don't have a lot of experience with it, you can start with it, but then it's sophisticated enough that if you're very sophisticated with it, you can do whatever you want to get done with the sophistication level as well.
Precisely. And then moving forward, what I see more and more increasingly, especially in the enterprise space, are companies that have mixed systems. So they may have JCI, they may have Siemens, they may have Tritium. And from a user interface perspective, they want one. They don't want to be logging into multiple systems. So this unification that master systems integrators help with tremendously is a big push, especially moving forward.
Well, you know, it's really exciting because I remember the DG Lux and DG Logic. You guys set the standard basically for visualization tools and graphics. I remember we would go to your site and that's where we got all our information on the visual impact, what it did, and how there was so much. It was so more rapidly assimilated. Human beings had a very ease to look at a graphic and get information from rather than reading or taking time to look down at a bar graph or whatever. And so you guys kind of set the standard in many ways, and this is a reiteration. So this is a new form of DG Logic or DG Lux. But tell us about like the go-to-market, the training. I know you guys just did some training because I knew a big contractor out there was in Chicago, and he said it was awesome. So we need to refresh the Control Trends on some of the ways you guys get your products to the market and what those products are.
Yes, absolutely. So training-wise, by the way, we are rekindling that. We will continue to do that. And with Acuity behind us, we have more locations now where we can host it, like this Chicago that you're talking about. So we're planning one on the East Coast. We're planning on the West Coast. Of course, the mid-states, as well as some in Canada and internationally.
Oh,
so
great.
that will be coming up fairly soon. It will be on digilux.com.
Okay.
In terms of how we go to market, we haven't changed that. It's all about partners for us. It's all about the integrator space. So we never do business with customers direct. We prefer to educate our partners on how to use the system. We can help them with professional services if we need to, but our goal is to make them self-sufficient and to actually feed business and leads to them. So our partners continue to do business as usual. They continue to work with us direct. You're also right about the fact that we always kind of were at the forefront, and we've been quiet for the last 1.5 to 2 years. But that's also about to change, because one thing that Acuity has done recently is acquired another great BMS type company called Lucid, right? And Lucid has a cloud-based energy management platform, which is very much focused on looking at your energy and where can you save, right? They have their own tariff engine, a ton of integrations. So it's a complementary tool set. And the second thing that we've done is we took the DigiLux team, it's the same DigiLogic team that everybody's used to, and we joined them together with the Lucid team. Thus, we can take advantage of the Lucid's marketing, the agile startup type communication and approach. So it takes us kind of a little step back from Acuity and allows us to move much faster. And then,
and for our ControlTrends community, Arthur, we actually interviewed them at Realcomm IBCon. So actually, if you go to ControlTrends and type in Lucid,
oh, great.
For those guys. And yeah, very impressive. Very, very impressive stuff.
So they're a part of the family. And then the second thing, another DigiLogic business, if we take buildings aside for a moment, you know, DigiLogic was historically branching out into other IoT spaces, IoT beyond buildings, if you will. Speaking of smart cities, industrial, healthcare, which are very different. They need a different mindset. They do need a different approach. So what we've done there is we kind of relaunched DigiLogic. So if you go to digilogic.com, that is all about IoT beyond buildings. So for our partners like Cisco and Dimension Data and NTT, the guys that play in that space, this is now the team that focuses specifically on that. So that gives us, you know, the best of both worlds and focus. DigiLogic for IoT beyond buildings, and then Lucid with DigiLux, right? Building OS and DigiLux that really focuses on buildings.
So one of the original Men in Black, Eugene Mazzo, is running one of those, and you're running the other. Is that accurate?
For the most part, Eugene is the GM of DigiLogic. Will is the CEO of Lucid, and I run business development, well, for both.
Perfect.
Well, it's awesome. I tell you, Arthur, I'm on dglux.com. So for the ControlTrends community, I want to just stress the fact that it's dglux.com, and it takes you to this marvelous website where you have DGLux 5. And I remember you guys put that 5 when HTML5 came out. You guys were the first guys to put that into your logo. It looked really cool. So the website's amazing. So, but this is what I think you guys put into our building automation world, was this graphic design and data visualization. And it was stunning. And now it looks like it's a beautiful website. It's got some really, it's the old stuff that I was looking forward to seeing. I mean, in other words, it has the drag and drop, you know, it shows you the cross pattern platform visualization, the client choice deployment. So it's a great website. Now, are you guys on your own division now? So you're DigiLux with Lucid, and that's your own business unit, or would you call that a business unit or a subsidiary, or how do you define your business?
Sure. So if we break it down just structurally, we have Acuity, right? This is our mammoth. We're about selling lights. Within Acuity, we have a technology division. Acuity, we call it internally Acuity Technology Group. And that has to do with connectivity, BMS, controllers, and software. And in it, we have Distech, DigiLogic, and Lucid. And then under Lucid, we would have DigiLux and Building OS.
Got it.
And under DigiLogic, we have Solution Builder for IoT.
Got it. All right. Well, thank you for that clarification, because I was having a little bit of trouble trying to find things. And then when I write the narrative of this, I'll be able to talk and make sure I got things squared away there. Good.
Perfect. And yes, on DigiLux website, we're going to continue to update it. It has a new site with examples. So we're actually continuing updating our Flickr page. If you go to examples, you're going to see some of the most recent projects where the toolset has been used. And yeah, you will be hearing more from us. Social media, of course, on ControlTrends.com and the trade shows that are coming up.
Nice. Very, very cool. And then you guys, last thing I remember really big, you had a really, really, really cool sort of overlay or template, if you will, for data centers, which would actually go right into the machines and show the heat and all that kind of cool stuff. So
absolutely.
Yeah, you guys have a lot of customized stuff and a lot of customizable stuff. So again, check out our good friend, our man in black. Give our best to Eugene and Dennis and the rest of the team, and DigiLux.com.
DigiLux.com. Thanks.
All right. I hope we can make the ControlTrends Awards this year. If so, come sit at our table.
Will do. Have a great weekend.
All right,
Right
brother.
on.
Great stuff from Arthur, Kenny. Good to
I'll
see him
say-
back on the show.
You know, he's such an articulate speaker, and he's so intelligent. I mean, I just love working with guys that every time you talk to them, you learn something new about the industry, learn something new about them, and the passion they have. So what a marvelous environment they're in, and having the support of Lucid and Acuity. But one of the things every time you say about Men in Black, one of my favorite rides of all time was that down in Universal Studio with Men in Black. It was a ride that you went in and you had the laser pistol, and you would shoot at all these characters out of the Men in Black movies, you know, all the space creatures or whatever. And
Nice.
if you shot a high enough score, you got recognized going out the door. It would say, "Congratulations, you made the All Galaxy," you know, whatever. But my daughter, who we're going to go visit here real soon, set a record score that she was. You push a button once you go in this chamber, and you get an extra 100,000 points. You know, so nobody told me that one until about the 10th time I went on it. And once I found that out, my score jumped significantly. But all these kids knew all these tricks, and the ones to shoot at and ones not to shoot at. You don't shoot at the most obvious targets. But I don't know if that's still working. But boy, the Men in Black ride, that was one of my favorites. I think we went on it 40 times that one day.
One of the favorites. So that's the man, the myth, the legend, man. He is a competitor extraordinaire. And I tell you what, Kenny, you and I are both traveling next week for Thanksgiving. So we'll wish our ControlTrends community a very, very happy and safe Thanksgiving.
Indeed.
And we're going to endeavor to do a show next week, but since we're both out of town, most likely we won't have a show a week from Monday, but we'll do the best we can to do that. And secret to our community, there's a distinct possibility that the next time you see the man, the myth, the legend, he will be a grandfather.
It's true. And I'm very excited. My wife's already out there with Sabrina, and her target date's the 19th. So we're really excited. And I will let you know. You'll be one of the first to know.
Well, that's great news. All right. Well, there you go. We have another week on Control Talk Now, your smart buildings videocast and podcast. Special thanks to our guests, Scotty Cochran from Cochran Supply and Engineering and Arthur Alder from dglux.com. And we might be seeing you next week. If not, remember, be bold, stay in control, stay relevant.
Indeed, Eric.
Indeed, Kenny Smyers.
All right.
Sit down, be quiet. They usually say, do this, do that, grow up, be nice and behave.